I'm done. She told Lady Tonda because she wanted her singer.
Right.
She's a spoiled fucking bitch.
Yeah.
I'm done with this bitch.
Zach threw his notebook.
I threw my notebook.
What up, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. I'm Nate. Joining me, as always, is this goon sitting beside me, my brother, Zach.
What up?
That's Zach.
I'm stuffed up, Zach, today.
Yeah, you're a little
Allergies.
stuffy. Yeah, it's been pretty bad the last couple of days. You sound better than yesterday.
I do.
That's good. You feeling better?
A little bit.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, if you've joined us before, thank you for coming back. If you have not been here, we are full spoiler. We discuss the series as a whole, and we'll talk about it whether you like it or not.
Bam.
Hopefully you like it, and hopefully that's because you've read the series yourself and then joined us on your reread. But, you know, if you like spoiling shit, then stick around, because it'll happen.
You're weird.
Why am I weird?
Not you.
Oh, they're weird, because
Yeah.
they're spoiling shit. Yeah, no, I agree. Weirdos.
Looking at you, Jordan. If you're listening.
Ooh, he's probably not listening
Probably
right
not.
now. That's okay.
Not at this current moment as we're recording it, no. But.
Anyway, last episode we were reading some Jaime. Hey, me too.
Hey, me too.
And it was fucking cool, man.
Yeah. Jaime is getting real bitter about this Kingslayer moniker bullshit. And him, Brienne, and Sir Cleos spotted an inn and thinking to actually take some shelter for the evening. Stopped to check it out, but upon doing so, noticed some shit was sketch.
Yeah,
and
it was sus as fuck in there.
There was a sketchy innkeep who basically told them that the roads are fucked. They should go this way instead of the other way because
He was
this
an
way
imposter.
is safe. Right? You should vote him out. And Jaime was picking up on it, thinking he was hot shit, and then it's revealed that Brienne was also on her shit and realized the same thing, and Jaime started giving her some of her due credit.
Yeah.
While also explaining just a very little bit about, not explaining, but thinking, and we got a little bit about his very final moments with the Mad King.
Well, he did discuss a little bit with her about it, and then he dreamed about the shit.
Right.
And it was the whole fucking thing with being discovered by the two knights, and then them leaving after offering to have him declare king, Ned arriving, and then he wakes up and...
And we also got how he came to join the King's Guard in the first place, be it through Cersei's idea of electing him there to be close to her, which didn't work out anyway. We are not reading Jaime this episode. We are reading the other brother, Tyrion.
Little baby boy.
Tyrion 2. In Tyrion's first chapter, he was awaking from the Battle of Blackwater with his freshly missing nose and new puckered
Tyrion
scar
1?
face. Yeah, did I say that?
I thought you said Tyrion 2.
Yeah, and Tyrion, sure. Tyrion 2, Tyrion 1.
Yeah.
They're the same. They're not.
They're not at all.
We're reading Tyrion 2. Tyrion 1, he woke up.
Yeah.
And was visited by Varys. Varys?
Varys, a lot of people showed up in his first one, but Bronn, yeah, I don't really remember.
It
what the
wasn't.
fuck he did.
It wasn't Varys. It was Bronn. Bronn came in and basically explained, "Yeah, I'm a knight now." And
that's because it took him so long to get there because
Right.
he was busy being knighted and shit.
And then Tyrion, pissed off, decided he wanted to go talk to somebody, so he went to go talk to his father and asked basically why I was stuffed here. And Tywin said, Red keeps filling up, and I did come to check on you once it was said you weren't in critical condition. I went about fucking doing my job and fighting a war while your sister is planning a royal wedding. And Tyrion made the foolish mistake of demanding what he believes is his right of Casterly Rock, to which Tywin
was like, fuck you,
Fuck
dude.
you.
Get the fuck out of here.
and told him the next whore he finds in his bed, he'll hang. And so, picking up Tyrion 2, Varys is humming as he enters his own chambers, and he stops as he notices Tyrion seated by the hearth and greets him, "Oh, my lord!"
Almost pretending to be frightened, I think.
A
Like,
little bit.
oh, you surprised me. I had no idea.
Golly me.
How did you get here? And yeah, Tyrion's been hanging out here waiting for Varys. He had waited for Varys to be summoned by his father Tywin before making his way into the eunuch's very, very humble abode.
Yeah, Tyrion was hoping to find a big old basket of juicy secrets, but there wasn't a paper to be found, so he ended up just kind of sitting by the hearth and waiting. Tyrion had searched for secret passages as well, but they had proved equally elusive.
Not hard enough, you little dumbass.
Varys asks if Tyrion is angry with him for abandoning him after the battle, and says that it wasn't for lack of love, that he...
You're just too fucking gross to look at.
He just has a delicate disposition, man. And yeah, you're pretty horrendous, man. And so Tyrion asks if it's true that Tywin is now renaming Grand Maester Pycelle.
Before that, Tyrion says, he says, perhaps I should have a new nose made out of gold.
Of gold.
Which is clearly a direct foreshadowing of Jaime replacing part of himself with a piece of gold. But I do also like, he says, what do you think I should have what kind of nose do you think I should get, Varys? One that, like yours, that sniffs out secrets, or one like my father that does cunt things, or whatever it was it said.
Cunt things.
But yeah, I just like shall I have it replaced with one of gold instead? And Jaime's going to be losing his hand very soon.
Poor Jaime. But yeah, Tyrion asks if it's true that Tywin's renaming Pycelle to the small council, and Varys confirms that it is. And Tyrion asks if he has Cersei to thank for that. And no.
Technically, you would have the Citadel to thank for that.
Archmaesters of Old Town. First real mention of them getting involved, at least.
And so we learn that the king, the Hand especially, can't appoint a new Grand Maester. They apparently can get rid of the one that's there, but only the Citadel.
The Conclave.
May
make or unmake a Grand Maester.
Right. And so they were in the midst of voting on a new one. Kind of, I think I read somewhere, or somebody mentioned, where did I hear that? But kind of like the Pope, choosing the new Pope. They're like in the room with the white smoke comes out.
Right. Well, that's what Tyrion thinks that in this chapter, that those conclaves are kept a huge secret. And so Varys has little birds in the Old Town.
And so they had been debating on two or three guys, but had finally landed on a Tyrell.
Yeah.
Maester
Garmin.
He's Maester Garmin now, technically, as Lewin explained, they don't hold their titles any longer.
Tywin don't buy that shit, though.
But Tywin does not buy into that
Upon hearing it was a Tyrell, your father immediately acted at once, restoring Pycelle to the council to say, fuck having a Tyrell.
Right.
So Tyrion notes, again, that Varys has some little birds kicking around Old Town. And he says, Pycelle is a toad, but better a Lannister toad than a Highgarden toad. Right. And that's basically where Tywin's thinking is along that line.
He at least knows that Pycelle will be loyal to the Lannisters.
Always has been. And he says shriveling fucking nothing. Tywin can easily intimidate Pycelle. And we also learn here that Sir Boros Blount is being restored.
Yeah.
Blount had lost his cloak, you'll remember, for failing to defend Prince Tommen when Bronn had seized him. No friend of Tyrion's, but he'll likely hate Cersei, and that's something.
Right.
So Tyrion files that one away for later.
Right, and then Varys is like, so let me guess, though. You're here because of Mandy Moore, and you want her unreleased hit album with her hologram?
Everybody's trying to get it,
It's going to be sweet. But no, he knows that...
You got to wait for King Chella for that.
Bronn has been investigating Mandon Moore, who his friends were.
Bronn has been, actively, openly searching for Mandon Moore. When Tyrion explicitly in his first chapter thinks, people can't know that, I'm looking into him and what Pod and I have discussed. And so it's interesting that Bronn's so brazen about it.
I just don't think he gives a fuck.
I definitely think that's a disconnect where Tyrion is thinking it, but Bronn is just going to do it his Bronn way. And
Varys, Tyrion thinks, would probably have way more information. Bronn has found everything he can at this point. But he thinks, again, I'm going to file that away. I can get that if I can get that later.
Yeah, he needs something to link to Cersei, but that's going to be difficult to find. And that actually reminds him of his true reason for his visit, which is he tells Varys that he's going to bring him Shae.
Oh, that's not very wise, though, is it, my lord?
It would be a shame if she were hanged. And Tyrion's like, of course he knows that my father threatened to hang any whore he finds. But Tyrion's like, no, it's not wise. It's bloody madness. But I want to see her one last time before sending her away.
Yeah, because he starts telling him, I see her around the fucking castle.
Because Varys says, oh, yes, my lord, I understand. And Tyrion thinks, how could you?
Now,
how could you?
I just want to put down Tyrion right now, because just because he can't...
He's not incapable of love.
Like, come
Right,
on, man.
right.
Like, Varys, it seems at the moment like he has a love for the small folk, at least. Like, even if
there
he
could be love for young Griff or even Illyrio. I mean, we don't know. Like,
so
Varys could absolutely have a
fuck
love
off
interest.
with him not being capable of love.
Just because he's not driven by sexual drives.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's pretty fucked to say.
Anyway.
And yeah,
then he'd
seen her only yesterday, Shae.
Right, and he gets all jealous because he sees her, flirting with the young.
She was carrying a pail of water up the Serpentine steps, and this young, dashing knight stopped and asked if he could carry it for her, and she smiled and touched his arm, and that had Tyrion's stomach in knots.
I think that's a super important thing that we skirt right over. This knight offers to carry this maiden's water, and it seems so stupid, but that's the kind of chivalry that Sansa dreams about.
That's what stood out to me is that who the fuck is this unnamed knight that's stopping these serving girls
to help carry their water?
Let me help you carry this up these
That's the chivalry that Sandor Clegane. The Hound says that shit's dead. That doesn't exist. Granted, it might just be the knightly high of having just been anointed.
Sure,
but that
still doing it.
Exactly. That's not. It's clearly not dead in the world.
I was extremely curious who this unnamed knight was, and I would bet dollars to donuts that it's a Tyrell.
It's Podrick Payne.
Or it's Podrick Payne.
No,
I would believe it's Tyrell.
That would make sense.
Knights kicking around.
They definitely seem to walk around a little
Tyrion
more chivalrous.
And Tyrion doesn't name him, so he doesn't know
recognize
him.
The guy.
And so it's probably one of the people here for the wedding, and I would guess a Tyrell. But and I think this is an extremely relatable moment because who hasn't had a lover or a crush, and you see them flirting or engaging with someone else.
Yeah,
and
not
you're
even
just
necessarily flirting.
Right.
Even.
It's
you
just a touch of the arm or a smile that you're like, man, I wish that smile was for me, and it twists you up. So here I can sympathize with him, but for the rest of the chapter, I'm fucking annoyed with Tyrion.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
And I mean, this is, and we've been told, this is his Achilles heel, is his
love
romantic
for
interests.
Whoever he can.
And because he's so desperate to be loved and to have love.
So at this point, Varys informs us now that the Kettleblacks are watching Varys, watching Tyrion. Yeah. Tyrion knows that he's being watched. That's why he can't engage with Shae in any way when he sees her out in public.
Yeah, he wanted to kiss her.
And Varys is like, yes, you're right.
Wise,
you're being watched by the Kettleblacks, and they are now back in Cersei's pocket ever since being given their titles of knight.
Tyrion asks, with how much gold I gave them, is there any chance of buying them back? And Varys says, there's always a chance, but not likely. All three are knights now, and the eldest, Sir Osmund, dreams of other favors as well, and he giggles.
Should be fucking Moon Boy for all I know.
He says, you can match the queen coin for coin, I have no doubt, but she has a second purse that is quite inexhaustible. That for me feels like an uncharacteristically brutish line from Varys to describe a vagina as a purse, an inexhaustible purse. That seems more of a Baelish quote.
Yeah, sure.
And so, that I
think he's playing Tyrion.
I agree.
He knows the Tyrion.
I think he absolutely
will like that kind of lingo.
Playing Tyrion a little
and
bit.
Especially kind of toying because Tyrion's like, wait, she's fucking him, and he's like, oh
no, it's dangerous to say that. No, I would never say that.
Just the mere
queen
thought.
Hints at it.
Right.
She little smiles and ribald jests here and there, touches and glimpses and smiles, and of course, what else did he say? But what? Oh, that was it. And then he finishes. But what would a eunuch know of such things? And I think that's a dig at
what he
how
just
would
said
you know?
Before
yeah. Well, no, he doesn't say it. He thinks it. But again, I think it's that playing up this.
What would I ever be able to?
I don't have these desires. I don't know how to recognize relationships and seduction and that type of stuff.
And so once again, Tyrion's like, yeah, that's good to know. There's nothing I can really do with that right now. I would like to see if we can't move them into that actually occurring and Tywin catching them.
But that's damn near impossible.
Yeah, that's a hell of a tile
So again,
setup.
file it away, and he says, so anyone else besides the Kettleblacks? And he says, oh yes, Janos Slint's sons absolutely basically fucking hate you and would gladly inform on you to the Queen. And Lord Peter Baelish is back in the city, has people in just about every brothel in the city, so were you unwise enough to visit one of those, he would know, and thus for your father, within probably the hour, So, and Tyrion's like, fuck, it's worse than I thought. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I have no move to make here. As far as Shae, and that's what pisses me off.
He still moves forward with this.
Well, like that, and his only focus here is on Shae and not regaining any ground politically or establishing his name back further, getting healthy, anything. It's Shae, and that's the only move that he's concerned with making, which we're learning bit by bit. There is no move to make here with Shae.
Right.
And this is pure stupidity on Tyrion's part. And
yeah, especially with because right now I feel like there's a lot of steps if he gets involved early on that could prevent the outcome of what's going to happen with him, with the engagement to Sansa, the murder of Joffrey.
If he was paying a little more attention to the Tyrells, the royal wedding, stuff that was happening, he might have had a say in he could have come up with a better match for Sansa.
Right.
And that's the thing too. Tyrion would have been, I think, one of those people who, had he, not been thinking with his dick, as is pretty much one of the comments we got from just about every listener, is that Tyrion is thinking with his fucking cock here, and it's dumb. But if he wasn't, Tyrion would be one of the ones to say, hey, what are we doing with Sansa? Because, there's the key to the north right here, and she's, we just kind of brushed her, and he would have already started setting up something for Sansa.
Well, and that's what surprises me is, why didn't anyone offer to marry Tommen to Sansa?
Tommen? Fucking Lancel? I mean, there's Lancel proved himself in the battle. There's quite a few Lannister names that they could attach to Sansa and be done with it. Tommen absolutely is a fucking brilliant one.
Because he's the second in line. He's a prince. Why not put a prince?
They handed down Sansa from one to the other.
He becomes warden of the north.
Probably because they disavowed her in front of everyone.
Absolutely.
Said, she's a traitor. The High Septon
I suppose
says,
going into the royal line, that wouldn't make too much sense there. But
it's just, if Tyrion wasn't thinking, I think he would have been able to
come up with some kind of a
ride
plan.
a better wave through the events that are going to occur with this book right now, with the Tyrells coming into King's Landing and everything that's happening. But he's done.
Well, even Dorne, he could have sent her, that would have fucking appeased the shit out of Cersei and Tywin. Hey, bring Myrcella back here, have Sansa, the North and the South, merge together, and granted, I guess they're big enemies too, so maybe, I don't know. Who knows? I'm no Tywin. I don't know.
Well, it's just a what if.
Yeah.
But if Tyrion wasn't thinking with his dick, he'd be making a lot smarter decisions and might have a chance of not getting fucking exiled and killing his father and seeing Shae hang by his own hands. And so Tyrion is...
Well, he finally asks, who does my father have watching me, though? And Varys is, me, my lord.
He laughs.
Of course.
And then Tyrion laughs a little bit, and he's like, yeah.
So, I just think that's, again, another brilliant strategy on the part of Varys to disarm Tyrion. I'm telling you that I'm here spying on you for your father.
Right.
But you're, asking me to involve, I have to bring your whore here for you.
So, that's pretty fucking... Is this a misstep for Varys? Because this is pretty fucking brazen. If Tyrion, for whatever reason, walked up to Tywin and said, hey, just had a visit with your eunuch. You got him watching me now. What would that do to Varys? With Tywin, basically the most powerful man in the kingdom right now.
That's it. If Tyrion he technically could play this, if he was thinking like his father, and that would be keeping House Lannister, he could have go to Tywin right after this meeting
and used it as
and
a
be
power
hey,
play.
At Moonrise tonight, the whore that you caught me, that you didn't catch me with, she's supposed to be meeting me with help from Varys, who has told me you're spying.
Right.
You're not getting Casterly Rock out of that shit. It's not happening.
Yeah.
No. You won some fucking favor there. You go, hey, you're spy. He's
spying for me.
He's helping me, though.
Confiding in me.
What up now, dog?
And what happens to Varys after that?
Right.
So
Tywin's not going to
I think that this was a heavily calculated risk on Varys' part, and I think he's counting on the fact. I think here Varys is playing on Tyrion's thing with Shae as being the only one who can get him access and all this, that I am entirely certain you're not going to go to Tywin and tell him that I'm the one supposed to be confiding.
Do you think at this point that he's already formulating concepts on getting Tyrion to Dany? Do you think that he's like, no, if I can get him more time with Shae to where it's caught, working on some. I mean, he's always in it for the long game. He asked Celerio for more time to set up stuff. So
no, I certainly think he's marked Tyrion as a player he would like on his team, but
getting all the way over there.
I think right now things are just the royal wedding.
I personally, again, I want to believe that Varys actually likes Tyrion, and he's getting Shae knowing the risk because and especially because the way that Tyrion says, I'd like to see her one last time before I have to send her away. He does see that. Hey, all right,
and that's when Varys says, I understand.
I understand.
I get it.
Which, again, how do you like that shit, Tyrion, saying he's not capable of loving? He gets it because he probably lost someone.
Or he's had to say goodbye to someone because of political bullshit. Right.
And so I think that it's that that won him over, and it's that, oh, we're friends. Yes, I'll do you this one last favor because now you got me thinking with my heart because you're thinking with your cock.
I agree. I think Varys thinks of him as a friend, but I think Varys is a player.
He's utilizing any information he needs.
He's just saying, Tyrion's going to do this, and I've told him why he shouldn't, but I'm the only one who can. And I think the friend in Varys is what is allowing him to use the bedchamber and set up that meeting and all that. I think that is the friend part of Varys, but I think he's basically saying, I'm telling you can't. I'm literally spying on you for your father. Eyes are on you everywhere. It's a dumb decision, but sure, if you really, really want it, especially to say goodbye, then I'll help you out because I think Varys does like Tyrion in that way, where he sees him as a friend and as a good man,
good ally
just
too,
thinking with his dick.
But yeah,
currently.
so that's that with them. He says, "Moonrise, be here," or be square, and Tyrion takes off, and he thinks that the walk home takes forever.
Yeah.
He spends the day kind of just lulling about the castle, trying to
pass the time.
Yeah,
he goes to the library, tries to read, but can't, and then finally decides to take a bath, scrubs himself clean, brushes out his beard, which is a fucking mess, and Pod helps him with it, and his beard does help kind of cover some of his fucked up face. And then he dresses.
Are you ready for this?
Then he dresses.
Yes.
And he dresses in finery.
Right.
Dumbass finery, thinking that he would gladly wear his Hand of the King chain, but that was taken from him.
Okay.
And then he kicks himself, realizing his folly.
Right.
You dumb fool. Why would you be dressing? Anyone who sees you is going to wonder why you're dressed in court's clothes to go see a eunuch.
Yes. So we need to start calling him Theon from this point forward.
Right.
That's almost exactly what Theon did when he was seeing his sister and when he went to see his father with dressing, because it was with his sister, I believe, where he actually changed back out of his finery. Because he dressed into it and then was like, fuck, what am I doing? She's down there when she came to Winterfell to get him and took it even to like putting on a necklace or a fucking whatever the fuck Theon did, because I don't fuck Theon.
I didn't understand this bit. Why wouldn't he wear finery to go see the
You're a lord.
Right.
You're a fucking
Tywin
lord.
Lannister would be going out.
Absolutely.
Like, in not, regalia, but he would be well dressed.
Well, because he did
and
say
he's
that
going
he
to
was...
see Varys. Everyone calls Varys a lord. It's not like he's going to some fucking brothel.
Well, I think that he was saying more because I think what he had on was like a fine evening dress, like best of the best. That might be a bit
to me, his dress sounded like he was going to dinner with a High Lord or something. He's wearing his Lannister chains. He's wearing his Lannister colors. Like,
yeah, it does seem a little crazy.
I think this is a misstep. He's thinking wrong. He's so caught up in his lie for Shae that he's not going to a brothel. He's going to fucking Varys' house, probably for dinner at this hour, so why wouldn't he be dressed up? Instead, nicely. He dresses down, and it makes it more... Why is he hiding that he's going to see the spider? Obviously, they're conspiring something. He's a fucking idiot here, and I totally disagree with him that this... I don't think he needed to change, and I think that is what you brought up with Theon. He's debasing himself to that. He's lowering
So that's
himself.
where I was going to say is it's almost like he, after his conversation with Tywin, doesn't think himself enough to wear and look lordly.
Tywin Lannister would leave the castle dressed in some display of Lannister colors.
Well,
you cannot tell me otherwise.
Even like Ned Stark, who wears those leather
breeches and jerkins,
fine leather jerkins with a nice collar, and like he still looks
and
like a
lord.
lord.
And like a chain pin to a half cape.
Like they still look like a lord. You don't have to look like a
beggar.
And that's again talking down on not to talk down on small folk or dress, but like you're allowed as a lord to dress up as a lord to go to lordly dinners. Right. Like that's part of the ensemble.
And that was
absolutely
this jumped out to me as the complete. It's the same circumstances, Theon, but complete opposite.
And so it's more it's this self-imposed Theonism.
Yeah, right. He's lowering himself to this. It's all about Shae. He's grimying himself up in this lie unnecessarily. He's lowering himself to the standards of this whore, and it's fucking stupid. So he redresses in much more basic clothing to not arouse suspicion, I guess.
And tells Pod he's going to see the spider and makes his way out, and there's a lot more people out than he expected.
He does redress, he tells himself, and this is that lack of self-confidence, all that self-hatred. He tells himself it doesn't matter, because no matter what he dresses in or where he goes, he'll always be a dwarf. He'll never be that tall, strapping knight that touched Shae and helped her with the pail with his long, straight legs and hulking, manly shoulders.
Absolutely.
It's that self-hatred.
This is why he changed.
Yep.
Is because of
He'll never fit that image of the Lord.
He feels like Theon should feel.
Yeah, he feels 2 feet tall, and it's showing. So the moon comes up, Tyrion goes, and
he meets a couple.
Sir Balon Swan was guarding the door.
He greets him pleasantly.
Gives him some pleasantries.
But then stops and chats with Sir Loras Tyrell.
On the drawbridge.
I never recalled this conversation.
My favorite part of the chapter.
And oh my word, this is like fucking Loras. I heart you,
Tyrion
Loras.
asks Loras how old he is, and Loras answers that he's 17. And Tyrion's like, well, why on earth would a 17... Well, he thinks 17 and already beautiful and a fucking legend.
Yeah, right.
And then 2, he thinks, why would a 17-year-old want to join the Kingsguard? And
he does note that Jaime was younger than I was when he joined
and Aemon the Dragon Knight took his vows at 17. And Tyrion says, right, I know their reasons, but what are yours?
Yours, which is a great question.
And he says, you're giving up lands, titles, inheritance, the chance to wed, the hope of children. And Loras says that House Tyrell continues on through my brothers. It is not necessary for a third son to wed or breed. And Tyrion says, well, some enjoy it, though. But what of love? When the sun is set, no candle can replace it. And Tyrion cocks his head with a smile and says, is that from a song? That's Renly.
Oh, yeah, 100. Oh, God.
And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And especially when you think about Sansa's last chapter.
He's joining the Kingsguard because he has no desire to get into another relationship
ever again.
He's giving up on love.
And so, again, we in Sansa's last chapter, when he was escorting her to see Lady Olenna, she was like, "Oh, we miss Renly, and it's so
I
sad.
hope Marjorie's doing well with it."
Yeah,
and
he's
he was like,
just
her.
Fucking.
She didn't see it.
And now we get this part where it's what if I do like how because immediately Loras flares out. He's like, "Excuse you, mock me," and he's like,
me?
"I didn't. No. Like it's almost that
I love
that
the girl once.
That childhood love that he sees in there. He's like, this kid did love. Somebody.
I loved a girl once, and we had a song as well, and. But he does think a prickly lad, and he said because Tyrion told him when he asked if it was from a song, he says, "You are 17. I see that now," and I didn't see it as mocking. I saw it more as nostalgic. Like
absolutely.
You had your first love, you lost it for whatever reason Tyrion doesn't know, and now you've given up on it because nothing will ever replace that. That's what Tyrion thought of Tysha.
Right.
And so absolutely, I didn't see it as mocking.
So I do also find it funny that he's doing this similar thing of like he can't because he doesn't love Shae.
No.
He loves the idea of Shae. He loves Tysha. And he still hasn't quite, I think, accepted or come to grips with how that's and so he's sitting, oh, you are 17. Well, you're kind of still acting like you're 17. Right. You want to get laid and you think you're in love with this woman because she tells you what you want to hear.
Tyrion went through a fucking trauma with Tysha. Watching her raped, watching men have to take her, yada, 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 being
the person he trusts more than anybody.
Deceived the way he was.
By his brother.
Tyrion went through a fucking trauma, and he hasn't dealt with it. He hasn't sat down, pulled it out, looked at it, analyzed it, thought about how it made him feel, thought about how it changed him, thought about all of it. And so, yeah, he's still dealing with that trauma, and that's Shae. That's this relationship with Shae. It's a false, horrid reflection of what Tysha is to him and what he wants and wanted with Tysha, but he can never have it with Shae, and he knows it, but he can't come to grips with it because he's still trying to find a way to control the situation, and it ain't going to happen. Not at this point. And so he leaves.
Yeah, he finally arrives at Varys's.
Well, on the way, he passes a dogfight.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Some men-at-arms were just making two dogs fight because they're fucking horrible people, I guess. And one of the dogs ripped half the face off the other, and they started joking that it looked like the Hound now.
Well, Tyrion made that joke. That
no. It was
the way I read it was that he got in a good face there by making them laugh with a joke about a comment about Sandor.
Yeah, I don't like it. It was mean. And they're fucking dogs fighting and shit. But yeah, he did the Jim from The Office of like, take a picture, make myself seen. There's my talking point, and I'm out.
Yeah, his alibi, he got there, and then he's done. So he does finally arrive at Varys's and pops his little head in.
The door opens before he can even knock.
And he's greeted by a plump woman, a pink face.
Is something amiss, my lord? And he's like, and then he realizes, Varys.
You motherfucker. And yeah, Varys is like, what up, yo? Surprise, surprise. And Tyrion enters and is grabbed from behind.
Yeah, Shae covers his eyes from behind, and they mean to fuck, but Tyrion says that he needs to get rid of Lady Varys first. And he already is, Shae points out. And fucking Tyrion is like, there's a secret passage here somewhere. I fucking know it. But they fuck. Yeah. And George gets into gratuitous fucking detail with it, which, like, Jesus Christ. I understand, like, we're all adults here. We understand what sex is, but, like, that scene was just a bit fucking much. Like, let's be real.
Just because she clenches her vagina on his tit?
Like, just because everything. Like, I don't need to hear about Tyrion fucking squirting and shit like that on the fifth pump. Like, for real, dude. Like, I get it.
He's one and done.
They're making love. Yeah, he's a 5-pump chump.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fucking going on here, but there's conversation occurring as well. Well, and that's what we're going to kind of focus on.
They fuck, and then they chill.
Yeah, and then fuck, and then chill.
And so when they're chilling, he just thinks, and this is another pure moment of how good...
I know we're going to learn about it in a little bit, and I could have brought it up there, but I want to interrupt and just do it now anyway. Varys just disappeared.
Yeah.
Fucking go. And obviously Tyrion searched this whole room, clearly not the whole room, for the secret entrances. Do you think that this entrance is anywhere near the one that Arya found them by?
Yeah.
Because if you recall, it seems almost like that is this.
The counterweight.
Like this rises up, he gets in it, and it brings him down there.
Right,
Like,
I
that's
would agree,
the thing.
the counterweight.
Or if not, then there's probably multiple variations.
But that was going to be my question is, do you think it's noiseless? Because they didn't hear a thing, or do you think there's another passage besides the one under the bed?
I think it's well oiled, and they're all pretty well maintained for that specific reason, to maintain that quiet.
Because there's only a single candle, so it's pretty dark in there. But like Varys gets out without, like, he does the Batman.
Just you turn around and he's gone. Done.
And so is it the one under the bed? Because he has to go push a button, it lifts up, he goes under. They don't even hear the soft like of it setting. Or is there one, where he can just whoop behind like the rock wall?
He's actually not gone at all. He's standing behind the coat rack. Yeah. There's like a coat. He's got it pulled out in front of him. He's just hanging out, watching. Voyeur. Fuck.
They fuck. Tyrion finishes, and as they're laying there, he thinks how good it feels to hold her, and how good it feels to just be held.
Well, and that right there is the core of it. That's what he wants.
Right. He wants to be loved.
Everybody wants to be held and hold someone and be cared for. Buying her, which at the end of the day, like, is what you're doing. And no digs against her for that. You got to make a living.
Right.
But that's not a healthy relationship.
She doesn't want the same thing.
Right.
At all.
She wants more money because he's a fucking Lannister. Like, there is no better lord.
We'll fucking get into what she wants here in a second.
Right,
but
true.
There was, because then after that he thinks, how can something as so sweet as this be a crime worth hanging for? And I just thought of Mance Rayder.
True.
I turn to the wildlings where a kiss isn't a crime and a man doesn't have to burn his cloak.
So, can I also point out that I feel like it would be less shameful if Tyrion wasn't so singular with it. If it was more just like he visits some whorehouses, not he found this one specific whore, he's going to keep her, he's going to marry her, I need her forever.
Right.
If he just kind of, like most knights tend to,
went to a
brothel,
laid
went to
with
Shai's,
Elia, no sex,
right.
just laid there
just
and
laid there,
cuddled
gets held,
held
or
each other.
and then go down the hall to a different woman and have sex or whatever. Any of that shit. I feel like Tywin would be less upset about. Oh well, he's kind of a whore son, but he's not
because he
married.
tries to claim one and make it into something,
make her a lady or something. And I think that's the bigger problem in Tywin's eyes. That would be the bigger of the issues.
But I just think that Tyrion and Mance Rayder would be an interesting conversation to have because of this line specifically, where
it's possible.
And I think that Tyrion's thinking about the whole. I think he's thinking of Tysha more here, where. How is what we did a crime in any way, shape, or form? We were just in love. We had our little seaside cottage, and then it was all a trick. But we know in reality it wasn't a trick, and Tysha actually cared for him. And it's just so. I mean, Tyrion is a fucked up man, and it's sad. So he tries to say that they can't meet anymore, but Shae cuts him off at every fucking turn.
He does attempt to say, you need to go away, I can't keep you here.
She asks for her jewels and silks back because she had asked Varys for them, but he didn't give them back. But what would happen to them if he were to die in battle? Are you fucking serious?
Right. Now, and again, this is thinking within context of this world here. You're a whore. You are not royalty, you are not a lady. Yes, you are fucking a man with a lot of money, and you could technically afford it. And that's just like Elia and Shataya. They could probably afford to dress in that shit. That's the only reason you're doing this. But you aren't a lady. So even if you're dressed like one, you shouldn't be at those feasts. You're not technically welcome there. So who do you think you are?
Well, that and hey, how about a thought for the man who died?
Right.
And not just what happens to your jewels and silks. Tyrion doesn't even fucking acknowledge that. He says, well, I'm still here. So basically your silks and jewels are still somewhere.
Yeah, but she obviously cares more about them. Right there, you can see. She's cared about the jewels, the silks, more than him.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right. So Tyrion tells her, Shae, my father, everything, you have to go away. Can I go to the royal wedding?
Doesn't even acknowledge that he says that.
Simon Stareyes says that there will be doves and bears and it'll be a fucking grand affair. It'll be amazing.
Simon Stareyes!
And Tyrion's like, God damn it, I forgot about the fucking singer.
Simon Silvertongue.
And he's like, how the hell did you talk to her? And she says, well, I told Lady Tonda about him. I'm done. She told Lady Tonda because she wanted her singer.
Right.
She's a spoiled fucking bitch.
Yeah.
I'm done with this bitch.
Zach threw his notebook.
I threw my notebook.
It scared me, guys.
She's a fucking handmaiden, and she's going to Lady Tonda ooh, your daughter, who I mock for being raped incessantly, fucking would benefit from this singer, when all it is I want him nearby because he fills my head like Tyrion things with these fucking stupid stories. Fuck Shae, dude. Fuck Shae. I don't care. I'm all for sex workers doing their thing. I'm all for people using sex as a weapon if they want to use it. I'm all for people being fucking all about their own interests in this fucking world. Fuck Shae. She's a fucking bitch. I don't like her. I'm glad Tyrion chokes the fucking shit out of her and she dies. Fuck her.
So yeah, she is very entitled.
She's super entitled.
Because
you.
That's it. She, as you mentioned, she's a handmaiden going to Lady Tonda. Right. And technically, she almost makes it sound like it's this. Oh, like you said,
soothe the baby.
The baby would love this singer
that I know.
But then
she makes the thing about oh yeah, Lawless doesn't want to go to the fucking royal wedding, but I told her you're not gonna get raped in front of in the king's royal fucking keep.
Jeez.
Fuck you, Shae.
PTSD much, bitch?
I understand. Some of our listeners have mentioned that Shae, to acknowledge that rape could happen is to sort of be like a weakness for Shae, so she does that intentionally. You're fucking heartless. You're a heartless bitch if you're telling someone who's been raped, like, fuck off, suck it up, we're going to the wedding because you're not going to be raped in front of the king. This is fucking Joffrey's court, bitch. Do you understand what happens to sex workers or anyone, really, who pisses him off?
Well, that's it. Technically, she very well could get raped.
Shae is clueless. Shae is fucking clueless.
Yeah.
She's stupid. She doesn't know how to play the game well. She did well to get here, but then she fucking botched it, and she sucks. Shae, you suck. Shae, you fucking suck.
So Tyrion thinks to himself and wonders, am I as big a fool as my father thinks I am? I was just skipping ahead because I thought that was kind of funny, that he's laying with that.
Yeah.
And still, like, as she's doting on this singer, this guy who's just known for, like, what the
And all the shit he says about the wedding, she's still insisting on going, and then she goes and sucks Tyrion off, basically saying, I won't wear any underclothes at the wedding. I'll sit in a dark corner. You can come find me whenever. And then she sucks Tyrion off, and then when she's done, she asks again if she can go. So, one chapter ago, we were told that Jaime Lannister joined the Kingsguard because he was asked by his sister. Then she spent a weekend fucking him to get him to do it.
That's
You ain't Cersei, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Because you failed. You still don't go to the royal wedding, you fucking bitch.
At the same time, she just said that she will make sure she's available for fucking during the party, the feast. Sitting in a corner. That's the last thing with his father sitting in that room.
Right.
Let's just sneak off. Like, they're not going to watch Tyrion, like, every eye.
And she was like, oh, I'll dress up. They won't even know that I'm not a noble. And he's like, everyone there will know you're not a fucking noble.
Everyone.
Like, everyone there. So, yeah, Shae is clueless. She's and like, I don't know if it's willful ignorance or if it's just straight up she's fucking dumb.
I think she had that small time where she was at the manse, where she was able to, and protected by the clansmen. She got to dress as lavishly as she wanted, eat, drink what she wanted. She was living the life just to go back to Handmaiden. And then he made all those promises of getting her back there. She grew used to it. And now it's this, oh, well, I had it. He's promised it. I'm entitled to it. And while I would say at this point in her defense, she's almost not been paid since she's left that manse, technically speaking. She's been forced to be a handmaiden.
Right.
She's a sex worker, not a handmaiden. So he is forcing her to take this role that she doesn't, isn't for her. I'm not saying that anything she does is okay.
Tyrion's a monster in this chapter too.
And that's it. So if she's doing that, it's not like he's giving her gold dragons, because what's she going to spend them on here? She's not allowed to wear the silks and jewels.
Right.
So he's got all this payment that he's like, no. You keep fucking me whenever I feel like visiting. You keep working for this as you see her, dumb, fucked up,
but right here, he's saying, you have to go.
Right. And she's not listening.
And she's not having it at all.
Well, she still wants the stuff, which now I think she's not looking at it as the way that I laid it out.
We all know that Tyrion is going to give her a severance.
Well, absolutely.
He's not going to, and she knows that.
Right.
Like, he's not going to send her
She
off
wants
with
it
nothing.
now.
Yeah,
and then she wants to flaunt it.
She wants the lifestyle.
Right.
She does not want to leave. She wants to be a part of this, and you die for it. You suck at playing the Game of Thrones, Shae.
Yeah.
And listeners, please, if someone can make me not hate Shae by explaining it in a way that maybe I'm not seeing, but
that's
this
the only
whole
way...
chapter to me is showing how how volatile these two are together, and how dumb they are when they're together.
Yeah, because that's the major argument I can see for her is that she's been stuck here doing work unpaid for months and months, and so I do feel as though I think she's stupid in trying to go to this feast. I think she's 100% entitled to her silks and gowns and gems.
I don't at all disagree that she should be compensated for everything.
But I do think she's making terrible decisions in her. You want to be flamboyant and all? Go to Bravos.
Right. She wants the silks and jewels to wear them around King's Landing, and that can't happen.
King's Landing's not the place to do it with Tyrion.
They both die.
Tyrion will pay you well to leave this continent. Go elsewhere. And there's better places to do it. Go to Lys.
Right.
Like, where you could be a fucking goddess in your trade.
Right.
Go to fucking Bravos, where you can live these lavish, extravagant lifestyles and go to theaters.
And she says later that she likes being his whore. Start a brothel in Lys. If you like being a whore and you want your silks,
you'll be regarded as a
you'll
priestess.
You'll be Alaya, Chitaya. You'll have respect, and you'll be this beautiful. Look at her, always in her gems and her silks. She's the
But
epitome.
she wants to stay here.
But she wants to stay here, and
that.
you don't. I mean, it sounds fucked up, but you don't belong here because you can't assimilate into the way things are done.
Here, you are a whore. You need to go I mean, and who are we to say that you have to leave? It's the safest thing. Tyrion is trying to keep you alive.
To get what she wants, by what she's shown, which is to live this lavish lifestyle, accessorized with gems and silks, and flaunt it. Clearly she wants to flaunt it and wants everyone to see her in it. And royal balls, royal weddings. Lys and Bravos, there you go. That's your solution. They party, they have great times, you dress eccentrically, you'd be fucking set. But you're choosing to stay here, and I mean, willingly or not, like, there we go. It's so...
Yeah, that's pretty much that. Tyrion gets up and kind of does another sweep around the room looking for the...
He notes that he wishes he could. He wishes he could bring her to the wedding.
Oh, sure.
Give her the silks that she wants, the gems that she wants.
I also think he wishes she was Tysha.
Invite her to his bedchamber, openly address their relationship, but he could not see her hanged, which I just love that line, considering he's the one that's going to choke the life out of her. But he lit another candle and began searching again for some more hidden doors.
And she tells him where it is.
Yep.
She sees it.
The secret steps are under the bed. Varys pushes in a certain place, and it floats right up. He says it's magic, and Tyrion's like, yeah, a counterweight spell, probably.
Fuck, counterweight spell. Learned that in level 1.
But Shae's like, all right, I should probably get going back. Lawless sometimes wakes up in the middle of the night asking for me, and Tyrion's like, yeah, well, dress and wait for Varys. He's probably listening to everything he said, and of course he is, because he's behind the coat rack.
Right, and he never left. He's been sitting there.
Just little giggles while they're getting it. And, Tyrion, as he goes to head out, Shae puts a finger on his lips and says that she knows she can never be his lady, and that it doesn't matter because she likes being his whore. Just keep me, my lion, and keep me safe. And there it is. Keep me. I want to stay here. She's not doing this against her will. She's not angry that she's not getting paid for her services. She wants to be here. She wants him to keep her here because...
He's the only one that will continue
to her, there's something attractive in this sneaking around with Varys, attending Lawless. So, like, I don't buy that she's pissed that she's not been compensated. She's right where she wants to be. And
I don't think, like I said, that it's necessarily that she's aware or pissed about it because she thinks she's going to be compensated. But especially with, like, her move with sleeping with Tywin, I don't think it's so much about the money at that point and the... Like you said, there's that excitement in doing something. Yeah, it's that you're coming now. I know that I'm staying with Tyrion because I can't just go to any of these jump up nights that were just made and get nearly as much as I could from you.
Right.
Then to have Tywin himself. Well, fuck. What could Tyrion ever offer me that Tywin can't? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. So, yeah, she says, keep me safe, and he says, I will. He promised.
Idiot.
And thinks, fool, the voice inside him screamed. You came here to send her away. The walk back is long and lonely on the boulevard of broken dreams, and Pod is asleep.
I walked a lonely road.
When Tyrion gets back, but Tyrion wakes him up and tells him to fetch Bronn. Pod doesn't recognize the name at first.
Do you want me to get him?
No, I just wanted to wake you up so we could chit-chat, have a good time. And
talk about fashion.
Pod all but ran from the room, and Tyrion thinks, am I really that monstrous? But half the night had passed, and Tyrion's 3 wine glasses in before Bronn shows up, and Bronn hopes that there is a damn good reason he was pulled from Chitaya's.
This walk-in scene just reminds me, like, he is exuding Sawyer from Lost when he walks in here.
Yes,
like,
he is.
There better be a good goddamn reason that I'm being woke up in the middle of my sleep fuck fest at Alaya's.
Chitaya's.
Tyrion with
is annoyed at the mention of Chitaya. And Bronn grins and thinks, yes, no more back alley brothels for me. Now it's Alaya and Mari in the same feather bed with Sir Bronn of the Blackwater in between.
And it's almost endearing that, like, again, Tyrion's protective, but at the same time, it's like, dude, fuck off.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck off.
They're not your property.
She's not yours. She knows what she's doing.
Right.
And she was doing it the whole time that you, like,
right.
yeah, she would learn.
Right.
And when she used that time, she would learn. She's going to find other time to do that.
Right.
That wasn't something she exclusively did. Now that Lord Tyrion's allowing me to not get fucked by him, I can learn to read. Thank you, my lord.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's nothing like that. She still works. She probably goes to fucking class after hours, you know, maybe gets a coffee with her college friends before, you know, the next class. But fuck you, Tyrion.
Yo,
and
they're
like,
informers for Varys. Yes?
I would think so. I mean, they've got the little secret passageway there that they've got all.
If not informers, at least, you know, confidants.
They work
They'll
together.
Exchange some info every now and then.
I would think they're not enemies if they are allowed to use that the way they do.
Right. Okay. That's where I was basically at with it as well. Yeah. So Tyrion, we also learned that Tyrion had sent over a jade and silver necklace and a pair of matching bracelets as apology for Cersei taking Elaia, but he dares not go in person because he's being watched.
Right, and that, again, they think that she's his whore. Right. If he goes and visits her,
they're dead.
She's getting hanged.
Yeah, she's dead. And so Tyrion tells Bronn, he thinks, well, this is fruitless anyway, getting pissed over Shae and Elaia. So he tells Bronn there is a singer, Simon Silvertongue, he calls himself, and he plays for Lady Tonda's daughter sometimes. And Bronn says, what of him?
Kill him, Tyrion wanted to say so bad. But the guy hadn't actually done anything wrong. Right. He just sung some songs.
And filled Shae's head with doves and dancing bears. But Tyrion tells him, find him. Find him before someone else does. And that's the end of Tyrion 2.
Oh,
yeah.
Here we go.
Not at all fun chapter, because Tyrion's making lots of mistakes.
Very much
And
so.
after such a high of Clash of Kings, Shae vehemently became a very disliked character for me in that chapter because
Seriously?
her colors became clear. She would rather stay here stupidly instead of getting what she wants. Well, I mean, obviously what she wants is to be here, but you could live the lifestyle that you're begging Tyrion for almost easily at this point. You did everything right up to this point. Everything right up to this point. But you're going to botch it here because you get greedy in my eyes. She got greedy and her eyes are bigger than her fucking stomach on this one.
She flew too close to the sun.
And yeah, you're going to end up going from the cub to the lion father, and you die for it.
You die.
And so we'll convene our small council, get some thoughts and inductees for this chapter, and we'll catch you guys there.
Welcome to the small council.
What up?
Not featuring Grand Maester Pycelle,
him.
because we still don't like that son of a bitch. And you know what? Fuck Boros Blount too. He can't come here either. He's not on the council. He's in the Kingsguard.
Yeah, but he's not reinstated
there
either. Fuck him. So, man, an interesting chapter. I got a little heated at Shae. I'm not gonna apologize for it, because fuck Shae. But you got an inductee?
Oh, no. Do you have one?
I do. Mine's gonna go to Lady Varys.
Oh yeah, nice.
Because at first, I was like, what is this? And then when Tyrion got annoyed, only when Tyrion got annoyed was I like, oh, that's Varys.
We never did actually touch upon that he thought for a moment that he brought Lawless there instead. And, that had actually occurred to me when it was this plump.
She's matronly looking, so that's how he got Shae? Is that how the disguise he wore to get into Lady Tonda's?
Yeah, actually, that makes sense.
Matronly, checking up on pregnant Lawless?
See, I had thought that it was dumbly, I'm using all sorts of cool real words. Ignorantly, I was thinking that he was leaving specifically to accomplish a task dressed like that.
Right.
I didn't think that, and that would make a lot of sense.
Fulfilled the task there.
To go and get
shit.
Shae
It seemed like they had just gotten back.
Yeah, right.
And so, I'm guessing that that's the disguise he wore to probably acting like he was checking in on Lawless's pregnancy and yada, yada, yada. And then as the matron, the midwife type thing. So, Lady Varys. And then I really love the idea that we changed it into he doesn't leave the room.
He's in the coat rack.
Yeah, he runs behind the fake plant and is just standing there. So, Lady Varys, and I loved that Tyrion said he wants Lady Varys gone.
Yeah.
He is,
and
so.
She's gone.
Lady Varys.
Nice. I'm going to give mine to Sir Loras Tyrell.
Loras.
Just because that poor kid can't catch a break.
That candle line, man.
Dude, that was just
it's devastating.
And the way that Tyrion... Is that from a song? Almost like this.
Do you think it is? Or do you think it's
I think that's 17-year-old
from the
emo
heart?
poet. Like,
Yeah.
like he's been writing some fucking
ice
poetry.
burns as hot as
Yeah,
fire?
and so
Yeah.
That's what I think that was.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was just, it's a very good line.
It's a poignant
like,
line, yeah.
And for him, like, and knowing the vows he took for the Kingsguard, it's that much more poetic. Right. And so, especially, like I said, I brought it up during the chapter, the fact that Sansa was really hammering it in.
Yeah.
She's probably not the only one. Like, we shit
right.
on Sansa a lot for
Everybody's
being naive.
doing, like...
I mean, yes, a good majority of people that are in the game, playing the Game of Thrones, are aware that Loras and Renly were fucking. But a majority of the small folk, while it might be rumored...
Oh, tell your sister I'm sorry for her loss.
Right.
Lord Renly was very kindly, right.
Exactly.
And Loras is the one
just
who...
sitting there biting his fucking tongue.
Yeah.
Like, can't.
Yeah.
And so...
And then the fact that, like, his committal to the Kingsguard for Joffrey is basically him saying...
Jamie Lannister.
I'm all out of love.
It's
like,
that reverse of Jamie. Like, where Jamie started
lack of love,
and for lack of love.
Yeah.
I'll never love again.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. Yeah.
All right, enough of that.
So, those are our inductees. We did get plenty from you lovely listeners.
Yeah, I'll read the first one since my phone's getting ready to die.
Cool, yeah, your phone's a little quicker than mine anyway, because I don't have mine out.
Here. So, I'll be starting with Julian. Hola. Hope you guys are doing good. Jesus Christ. The downfall goes on. Is really Simon Silvertongue the problem?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Well, no. Like, I think that's fucking... Why are you zoning in on this, Tyrion? Right now, right here. Right, Julian. Spot on.
Beautiful. Inductee. Let's say Sir Bronn.
Fuck yeah.
Living his best life now that he's a knight. Good for him. Valar Bronn That's a very, very good point that I actually had meant to bring up. That because we had touched upon it. Like, why not? Why would Tyrion... Like, Tyrion is upset that... I mean, again, there's going to be that guilt, not even guilt, that jealousy of, like, I saved the city, it's that poor me.
Yeah.
Everyone else is getting benefited and reaping the rewards,
right.
But here I am getting it's because you're so stuck on this shit.
Tyrion, you have Sir Bronn of the Blackwater literally answering to you.
Right.
Like, and again, I'd like to just throw it out there that Bronn is the not greedy version of Shae. Because Bronn is a sellsword, essentially.
Right.
One of the most despised and looked down upon men professions.
Unbelievably loyal to you.
And has now been knighted, and he's gotten everything. So he's good. He's enjoying it, right?
He's doing all, and so, but he's
Bronn's
still
fucking peaked, yo. Like,
he's still showing up at your place,
yeah.
And like, what's up? What do you need?
Right.
Like, what?
Whereas Shae is
more.
Bronn is like, yo, can I just enjoy, like, my knighthood?
I just wanted to go and get my dick on.
That was,
like...
I got knighted, like, a week ago. Can I, like, celebrate still? Thanks. But, yeah, great inductee. Thank
Wonderful.
You, Julian. We also got an inductee from Karen. And
hey,
for Tyrion,
Karen.
too. She says, oh, Tyrion, I wish he would have given up on Shae. He knows it will end bad, but he's thinking with his cock. I have a listener... oh, my God.
Get your shit together, bro.
I have a question for you guys and any listener. Listeners, listen up.
Listen.
Karen's asking a question. Do we ever think Shae actually loves Tyrion? My first time I read the books, I did, but now I don't think so. Okay,
so I believe we got into this pretty heavy, actually, back in some Clash of Kings episodes. Right. I'm not sure that I'm still as fond as I was on my belief then, because I was very, support the sex workers, very much so there as well. But the more we get to know her, the more I do believe she's just acting in her own self-interest. Because even in this chapter, it was... I know she has a somewhat valid point, but she was very quick to, all right, Lawless might wake up, I gotta go, bye. Yeah. Like...
Yeah, and when he tells her no, it's just he gets icy, sullen courtesy all night. Like.
And how quick she goes from, oh yes, no, you're my lion. You're great, giant. Woo. Okay. Simon says that he can do things with his tongue that you've never done.
Yeah.
And like.
So yeah, no, I don't think there was ever any love from Shae.
From me whatsoever. I don't think so either.
And she says, ha ha ha, our first mention of Cersei fucking Osmund Kettleblack.
Yes.
So juicy, so good. Inductee King Maegor the Cruel for his secret tunnels and hidden pathways all through the Red Keep. He may have been a brutal murderer, but he got some shit done.
I really wanted to steal your inductee because he was so cool.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. That was a great inductee. Maegor the Cruel. And, of course, we received a raven from the Dread Fort. And Corey says, hello. It was a nice little reunion with Tyrion and Varys, both trading insults like brothers do.
Mm-hmm. What?
You fucking douche.
I don't insult.
It's so difficult to... that douche was aimed at Nate, not you, Corey.
Whoa, ease up on Corey,
It's
man.
so difficult to read Varys. I hope Martin writes a few Varys POV chapters, just to get an idea of how he thinks. I feel that's been confirmed to not been happening.
Did he announce
I think
that he
he
won't
said
be
the
doing...
two would be Littlefinger and Varys.
That he won't
because
they
you
know
too
too
much.
much,
Yeah, I believe.
I mean, who knows? Maybe in Dream of Spring or
right.
towards
He
the end,
could.
like,
I mean, it's Martin. Yeah,
it would be lovely, but who knows?
Shae is really pissing me off, my brother. You are a whore. Give me a break. You want to be a guest at the royal wedding? Get the fuck out of here, Tyrion. If she won't listen, give her a few golden dragons and kick her to the curb. For such a smart dude, he's a complete idiot when it comes to female relationships. Need to start thinking with the other head. This week's inductee goes to Varys. Not only is he the master of whispers, but also the original Houdini. Please, Tyrion, be kind to Pod. He might be the only friend your only friend when all of King's Landing wants your head on a spike. Corey from the Dreadfort.
Corey.
So Lord Varys for Corey, Lady Varys for me. Excellent inductee.
Maegor the Cruel.
Maegor
we
the
got some
Cruel.
Loras Tyrell.
Bronn.
Thank you, Corey, Julian, Karen. We appreciate it so much when
Fuck
you guys
you,
send in
Shae.
your inductees. Yeah, fuck you, Shae. I'll throw one in there. I also want to say fuck you, Tyrion.
Right,
this
yeah,
one as well.
and this one. You're being
and
dense.
just to, keep things regular, fuck you, Theon.
Fuck you, Theon.
And fuck you, Jorah.
And Jorah, fuck you, Jorah.
Yeah, right.
All right, cool.
So we got
Covered
the fuck
them.
yous out of the way. If you would like to give us your inductees, as those lovely listeners did, you can do so. You can write us an email like all of them did. That would be our Without Manners Brotherhood at gmail.com. You can check our socials, facebook.com/Brotherhood Podcast. I'm on Twitter at MannersWithout. Zach's on Twitter sometimes at Carstark92.
Yep.
We are all over the internet. Fucking Podbean, Stitcher, Breaker, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm not going to name any more because I can't think of any more, and that's the only reason.
Just because, the world's shit right now, and I want to just, have some fun. Go watch the new fucking Animaniacs trailer, because it looks really
God,
cool.
yeah, dude, that looks
and,
sick.
if you were, 90s kids cartoons like Nate and I were, then, go check it out, because it looks really fucking cool.
Right. So I also want to give a big shout out to all you motherfuckers on the YouTube.
Yo, YouTube.
We have a new subscriber over there, Azuz. Little Miss Haven has been leaving comments, and we read them all. We don't always necessarily have time to comment back. Appreciate them so much.
We love you on
see
YouTube.
You so
we
much.
see you.
So
join us next time. We're going to be reading Arya 2.
Yeah, and check us out on Patreon. We're
Right.
going to be getting some stuff. Patreon.com/Without Manners. I think that's about it. Do I have anything else I'm supposed to be plugging? Let me think. Hold on, I'm thinking about it because I'm the one that does all the fucking legwork
Guests
around
coming
here.
real soon.
Yeah, so we have sent out the messages to set the date. They need to check their schedules.
We've got to set the date.
And so once they get back to us, we will let you know. Until then, I think we're going to wrap up another wonderful episode of Brotherhood Without Manners.
Inductees for Arya 2, and we will catch you on the flippity flop.
Valada Harris!